Hello everyone, I am Simeon Sunday, and just as you know, I am your consultant who ensures that you make the right real estate investment. I always ensure that when you are about to make real estate purchases like purchase of land and houses, I give you the right information you need to know before going ahead to make that real estate transaction so that you will not make regrets later in the future. So today on this very video, I'll be giving you the most important land document that you must know, the land document that you need to get when you're making purchase of a land or any other property. And I also want you to note that land document varies, okay? It varies by location, and also it varies by the interest you have in that property you are purchasing. So let's dive ahead and give you those land documents that you need to know when making real estate transactions. So in order for you not to fall victim to land grabbers, you should always ensure that you get a document for any land you are purchasing, because there are land grabbers out there, there are scammers out there, there are agents who are just out there to make the money and get away. They don't care if your properties are safe, secured or not. They're just to get the money from you and they are off. The deal is done. So the first land document you need to get when making real estate purchases is one, land purchase. So the land purchase receipt shows that a land transaction has been carried out. It will indicate the amount that you paid for the land. If you made the initial deposit or you made an outright payment, the land receipt is going to state all that out clearly. The land receipt should carry your name, your signature, you should sign on the receipt, and also the land receipt should carry the name of the buyer, be it a developer or an individual. All these things must be clearly stated on that land receipt. So ensure you get a receipt for your payment, just like you get receipt for all other businesses that you do. So ensure you get a receipt for your real estate transactions, be it a land or a house. So the second most important land document that you must get when making purchase of land is the contract of sale. Whether you're making a deposit, you're buying on installment, or you're making an outright purchase, always ensure that you get a contract of sale document for your transaction. Now, what is the purpose of the contract of sales? The contract of sale shows the terms and conditions under which you are buying that property. It shows that you have an agreement with Mr. A and Mr. B or Mr. B to buy this property on so and so amount. The date will be stated, the amount at which you are paying for that land will be stated, and every other agreement that you have with the seller to sell that property to you will also be clearly stated in that contract of sale. So ensure that you get a contract of sale when buying properties. So the contract of sale document is, you cannot use it to process a loan, and you cannot use it as a collateral to process a loan from any financial institution. But it is very important when it comes to legal representation. You can use it to defend a case anywhere that there was a transaction that occurred between you and the vendor for a property you are buying. So ensure you get it and keep it safe. So the next land document you must get is the deed of assignment. Deed of assignment. Now, the deed of assignment is another important legal document when it comes to property ownership. The deed of assignment transfers the interest and rights of that very property from the very date that transaction was made. The deed of assignment will state the date. It will state the vendor's name, being the seller's name. It will also state the name of the new owner. So whatever interest or right that is upon that very property, that is upon that very land, the deed of assignment will show that the property has been duly transferred upon the completion of the terms of sales involved in that property. Now, with the deed of assignment, you can get a loan from any financial institution. Yes, with the deed of assignment, you can get a loan. But with a contract of sale, you cannot use it to process any loan. The contract of sales only states the contract under which a land is being sold to a buyer, while the deed of assignment transfers the rights of ownership and every other titles on that land from the vendor to the seller. So the next land document that you should not forget to get, of course, is the survey plan. Yeah, what is a survey plan? A survey plan or a survey document is a document that gives you accurate details of the measurement of that land. The survey plan states the location of that land. It states the square meter of that land. So when you are buying a property, you will hear things like this land is 500 square meter, 200 square meter, 150 square meter, and the rest. So these square meters you hear are just the unit of measurement of the land. So the survey plan will state the measurement of that land, how large it is, how big it is, the area where it is located, and the name of the person selling that property to you. Of course, it is not a free document. It is a document that you need to pay for. So as a buyer, it's also important that you get a surveyor to go and get the details of that properties in that very location that you want to buy the property. There are two types of survey. We have the provisional survey, we also have the registered survey. The provisional survey is a survey that can be done by any surveyor out there. It is not registered. While the registered survey is a survey that is recognized and approved by the Surveyor General of land in your very location or state. So when you go to chart up a land, when you go to make due diligence about a land that you want to buy in a particular environment, what your surveyor do is that your surveyor will go to that location, pick up the land coordinates, the land details, and then take the details to the Surveyor General's office in that very location. And then with those details, the surveyor will be able to know if that land is an approved government land, or if that land is under any government encumbrances, if that land is free from government acquisition. So ensure to get a survey document when you are making your land purchase. The next important document that you must know or that you must get is the C of O. The C of O, known as Certificate of Occupancy, is the most important land document that you must get. The C of O is not given to you, it's not given to the seller by the owner of the property, it is given by the government. Yes, the C of O is given to a land buyer by a government. The C of O shows that the government is aware that this land has been sold to you. It shows that this land is okay and the government have no interest on it. It's like a government giving you a stamp on a document that yes, you are free to go ahead. We are aware that this property has now been transferred to you. Okay. With the C of O document, you can get a loan from the bank using it as a collateral. Yeah, so every bank requests for a C of O when giving out loans to people who present their land as collateral for the loan they are about to take. Now, when you have a C of O on your land, you just have to be rest assured you should go home smiling that yes, this land now belongs to me. The government is aware of my land. So once you get your land receipt, you get your contract of sales, you get your deed of assignment, you get your survey document, the next step you should take is going to process the C of O of that land. Now you may ask, why do I need to go and process a C of O even though I've gotten the receipts, the contract of sales, and the deeds from the original owner of the land? Now every land in the country, every land in any region originally belongs to the states or federal governments. So every land you see belongs to the government. So you need to process a C of O so that the government can allocate that land, so that the government can release that land to you. And every land has an expiry date. The C of O that you get from the government has an expiry date. The C of O only states that this land has been given to you or released to you by the government for a period of 99 years, after which you will need to renew your C of O. So the C of O document is not permanent. It's a document that you need to renew after a period of 99 years. Let me tell you reasons why some persons do not get compensated when government comes to demolish some areas because they actually have a need of that land. Because those lands do not have a C of O. Yes, that is the secret. So if you want to get compensated for your piece of land in the future, if the government later comes up to say that, okay, we want to use this locality, this area, maybe to build a school, to build hospitals, or to do special government projects for the people, or probably to make a road in that very environment. If you want the government to compensate you, that means you need to go and make a C of O for that very land that you are occupying right now if you have gotten one. So ensure to get a C of O to protect your property. So after the C of O being the certificate of occupancy, the next document you should know about is the governor's consent, GC, governor's consent. What does a governor's consent mean? Let me give you a scenario. You are about to sell your land. As a person that has a land with a C of O, you want to sell your land to another buyer. When you sell your land to another buyer, the new buyer does not need to make a new C of O for that land. The document that the new buyer will need to possess on that land that already has a C of O is what we call the governor's consent. So on that governor's consent, it's going to have the signature of the government showing that we are aware that this property has been transferred from the original owner to a new buyer. So for you to possess a governor's consent on the land, it means that the land to be sold out already has a certificate of occupancy being the C of O. You can't possess a C of O on a land twice. C of O is only done once. If you want to sell a land that has a C of O to the new buyer has to possess what we call the governor's consent. Do not forget that. Of course, to possess a governor's consent is not free. That is why I always advise you to work hand in hand with a property lawyer, work hand in hand with a surveyor so that they can help you through the process of buying landed properties. So I want to leave you with what we call land excision. What is land excision and what does it mean for a land to be excised? Now, every land, like I told you, though they belong to a community, but the government has rights over every land. So before you buy a piece of land, always ensure that you make due diligence, meaning that always ensure that you make check to see if that land has been released by the governments to the people, to the local owners of that land to sell. Now, if the government have released a piece of parcel of land in a community or in a location for the local indigenes to sell, it is called excision. So excision is the process of the government releasing a piece of parcel of land in the location to the local indigenes to sell. And any land that has been excised will be produced or published in what is called a land gazette. So a land gazette is a book or is a government document that shows the number and location of land that has been excised for the people. So finally, I'm going to leave you with these important tips. Tip 1, always ensure that you buy properties that has good documents. Tip 2, always ensure that when dealing businesses, real estate transactions, ensure that those people you're dealing with those businesses with are professional real estate developers, agents, or realtors. Step 3, don't forget step 1 and step 2. Thank you very much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe to my channel if you're watching this video on YouTube. I love you.